It's a bit of a brave move by Lush to abandon those channels of social media because businesses these days really are coming to rely more on social media presence to get their message out there uh, than ever. And to abandon those channels is, as I say, a pretty brave move. But I do note that they still have their YouTube channel there and their Twitter channel going. So they haven't entirely given it away. They're just basically saying they're sticking with the ones that are acting more ethically, and they're giving a miss to the ones that aren't listening to the criticisms that are coming their way.
So a more ethical sort of business strategy that they're taking. I wonder about individuals, though. Like Joanna was saying, how we live so much online, we connect online. If we withdraw from our online presence, does that mean we no longer exist?
In some ways, it does mean that we no longer exist, at least to the people that we were interacting with online. But you know what? I think what we're seeing in recent times is people realizing that to spend so much time online, to live the better part of your life online, is actually to miss out on the real experience of living. Now, I'm not talking down the value of social media. It certainly has its place. But I am noticing a trend away from spending so much time online. And so if somebody does decide to either suspend their account or delete it altogether, which is a much more drastic thing to do, then they may find that new dimensions in their real world life do open up.
Well, they'll suddenly discover that they actually have partners, children, and a life as well, I suppose. Yeah. But what actually happens when you do delete, or let's just say deactivate your account online, let's say Facebook or Twitter? Is that data still there? Can someone else, perhaps if they're searching for you, can they still get in touch with you? Can they still see that account?
In both cases, deactivate and delete, people cannot then find you or communicate with you via that channel. Now, Facebook do make it possible for people to take a break. So there is a deactivate option, and if you deactivate, everything stays in place. All of the data, all of your postings, everything stays there, but people just can't find it. You become unfindable. But the more drastic, I guess you might call it a digital detox move, would be to delete it altogether. Now, Facebook do say that if you delete it, then all of your data is gone. It's beyond recall. There's no way that you can get it back. Computer people know that data is never actually gone. It can be recovered by digital forensics, but really, for practical purposes, if a person does decide to delete their account, then, it's all gone.
Yeah.
So whether or not Lush have actually deleted their accounts or just deactivated it, they're not actually saying.
I wonder, though, we are different people in different stages of life. Can we really be held accountable for something we posted, say, 10 years ago when we were, a different person? And I suppose that all buys into cancel culture. And is that something that employers take into account when they're scrolling through your social media?
Well, it certainly is something. HR departments for years now have been routinely checking people's social media. Some people think that's a little bit intrusive, but if it's a public profile, then it's considered to be fair game. Now, if somebody, presents themselves on social media as a party person who is often, partying in a bit of a bad way on Monday morning, then the potential employer might well think that somebody who has a more sober and judicious sort of presentation on social media would be a better bet. Yeah. But to your point, are we to be held responsible for things we did years ago? Well, there's a strong argument to say that we shouldn't be. In Europe, there is this so-called right to be forgotten. And you can ask Google and the others to simply make it so that you cannot be found. Now, the data about you on third-party websites may still be there, but, Google doesn't have any control over that.
Yeah.
But people won't be able to find it.
Right.
So, it's a bit of a double-edged sword. It's not going to be very easy for people to find that information, but the information does still exist.
Yeah.
So a very determined searcher might very well then be able to find it. So,
Yeah.
I guess the message is people should be a little careful about what they post, because it's a bit like getting up on Speaker's Corner and, declaring to the world what you think. There's no real privacy on the internet.